Welcome to the world of sci-fi stories, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Enjoy the listening. Humanity strikes back, and the galaxy stands helpless. The calm before the storm emerges. Empire for centuries, Earth had been forgotten. The great civilizations of the galaxy, with their advanced technology and powerful fleets, looked down upon humanity as a relic of a bygone age. The stars that once called to mankind now seemed distant and unreachable. Earth's people had known peace, peace born of silence. No wars, no battles, no ambition. The planet had been slowly rebuilding itself after years of struggle, focusing on healing the wounds of a broken world. The galaxy, with all its grandeur, had moved on, forgetting that Earth had once been a force to be reckoned with. They had forgotten about the resilience of humanity. The galactic powers believed humanity was no more than a faded star in the cosmos, a species too weak to cause any real disturbance in the universe. They were wrong. Deep within Earth's core, where the ancient cities of mankind were buried beneath layers of dust and time, a spark of life flickered to life again. The quiet peace that had reigned over the planet for so long was about to be shattered. For years, secret factions on Earth had worked in the shadows, unnoticed by the galaxy. No one knew of their plans, and no one could see what they were preparing. In hidden underground bunkers, massive research facilities, and secret military installations, humans had been quietly gathering their strength. The galaxy's powers, lost in their own affairs, failed to notice the subtle shifts occurring on Earth. The once invincible human forces were quietly rebuilding themselves, learning, growing, and adapting. It all began when a strange signal was picked up by Earth's most advanced telescopes. A signal, like a whisper from the past, was detected deep in the stars. The message was old, distorted, and almost forgotten. It wasn't just a communication. It was a beacon, a call from something larger, something that had long been hidden, but never truly lost. A connection between humanity and the stars had been restored. For the longest time, no one knew what the signal meant, but one thing was certain. It was not a message from another species. No, it was from humanity's past, from the great empire that had once stretched across the stars. The signal was proof that humanity had once reached far beyond Earth, and now that ancient empire was waking up. The long-dormant technology, hidden away for centuries, was now being brought back to life. The first signs were small, subtle. A few strange artifacts appeared in secret military labs, technologies that hadn't been seen for generations, weapons that seemed to have no equal. Slowly, quietly, Earth's most brilliant minds began unlocking the secrets of the past. They began to understand that humanity was not just a race of survivors. They were conquerors, and with the right resources, they could reclaim what they had lost. No one knew when it would happen, but all the signs pointed to the same inevitable conclusion. Humanity was about to rise, not with the slow, measured steps of a species regaining its footing, but with the force of a tidal wave ready to wash over the galaxy. Humanity had learned the lessons of its past, and now it was ready to strike back. For decades, Earth's people had lived in peace, but that peace had been built on ignorance. The galaxy, with all its vastness and power, had assumed that humanity had no place among the stars. They were wrong. Humanity was far more powerful than anyone realized. While the galaxy's leaders sat in their luxurious palaces and planned their next moves, they failed to recognize the quiet storm brewing on Earth. The signal had awakened something ancient, a dormant empire that once ruled the stars, and now that empire was stirring once again. In secret, the human forces prepared. Ships were built in hidden shipyards, weapons were forged in undisclosed factories, and armies were trained in underground bunkers. The galaxy, with all its might, had no idea what was coming. Humanity was ready to reclaim its place in the cosmos. The first test came when Earth's fleet, once thought obsolete, emerged from the shadows. A small, quiet force at first, barely noticeable in the vastness of space, but it wasn't long before their presence was felt. The first signal, the first sign of humanity's return, was a sharp reminder to the galaxy, and the universe took notice. In the quiet corners of the galaxy, old enemies began to stir. Races that had long since forgotten humanity began to whisper. The warning had been given, but it was too late. Humanity was no longer the weak, forgotten species they had once been. The storm was coming, and there was no stopping it. As the fleet silently traveled through the stars, the galaxy remained unaware of the threat that loomed closer and closer. But it wouldn't stay hidden for long. The ancient empire of humanity was back, and soon the galaxy would learn what it meant to stand against them. The storm was about to break. The Empire had returned. For centuries, Earth had been quiet, but beneath the surface, humanity was far from idle. The moment the first signal was received, it had sparked something within the deepest corners of the planet. It wasn't just a simple discovery, it was a call to arms. The people of Earth had always known they had the potential to achieve greatness. But now the time had come to reclaim what had been lost. Secret organizations and hidden factions, operating unnoticed for decades, had been preparing for this moment. They had anticipated the return of the old empire, and when the signal appeared, it was more than a coincidence, it was destiny. Underground bunkers and hidden research facilities were the breeding grounds for this new empire. Inside them, humanity's brightest minds worked relentlessly, deciphering the ancient technology and weapons that had once been the key to their dominance. They had access to knowledge lost to time, knowledge that no other species in the galaxy possessed. Earth's top scientists had spent years studying the remnants of their ancestors' technology, rebuilding what had been forgotten and developing new breakthroughs in military strategies and advanced weapons. One of the most remarkable discoveries was the creation of the stellar shield, an impenetrable energy barrier that could withstand even the strongest of galactic weapons. The shield was based on designs that had been found in old archives, but humanity had modified and perfected it, turning it into an unbreakable defense system. This technology alone could change the tide of any battle and give humanity the edge they needed to challenge the galaxy's most powerful empires. Alongside the shield, a fleet of ships was constructed in secret. These ships, sleek and powerful, were designed not just for war, but to strike fear into the hearts of anyone who dared to face them. Armed with advanced energy weapons and equipped with warp drives capable of traveling faster than any other ship in the galaxy, these vessels were the perfect combination of speed, firepower, and stealth. The humans had learned from their past mistakes. They no longer needed to rely on brute force alone. Their ships were crafted with intelligence, agility, and cunning, ready to outmaneuver any opposition. But it wasn't just the technology that had improved. Humanity had also been training a new generation of warriors. Unlike the galaxy's elite soldiers, who were often bred for power and strength, humanity's warriors were trained in adaptability, resilience, and intelligence. They were taught to think on their feet, to use their surroundings to their advantage, and to adapt quickly in the face of danger. Every human soldier was prepared for the worst because they had learned that in this galaxy, survival depended on the ability to outthink and outmaneuver the enemy. It was this unique blend of strength, intelligence, and determination that made humanity a force unlike any other. While other galactic races relied on their size, technology, or military prowess, humans had something more, a drive, a hunger for victory that could not be easily matched. They had fought for centuries to survive on Earth, and that same spirit of survival would now propel them across the stars. As the human forces began to gather, there was a sense of unity and purpose that had never been seen before. People from all walks of life, from scientists to soldiers, from farmers to engineers, came together to support the cause. The old divisions that had once plagued humanity were forgotten in the face of a greater threat. For the first time in history, they were all united under one banner, the return of the Empire. No one had expected this level of organization and power from a species that had been left behind by the galaxy. But humanity's resurgence was more than just a simple return, it was a statement. They were not only capable of surviving, they were capable of conquering. And with each passing day, the strength of humanity grew, building a foundation that would soon shake the very core of the galaxy. The first small test came when a few of humanity's newly developed ships silently entered galactic space, undetected by the most advanced radar systems of the galaxy's elites. It was a reconnaissance mission, and it went off without a hitch. The humans had already infiltrated the galaxy's most secure systems, gathering intelligence and preparing their forces for a future offensive. The galaxy's leaders, comfortable in their high towers, had no idea that the tide was turning. But soon they would feel it. The galaxy's response was slow. They had dismissed humanity as insignificant. They believed that the once great empire had faded into history. But as the first signals of humanity's strength echoed across the stars, it became clear that the galaxy had miscalculated. The old empire of Earth was not just returning. It was coming back stronger than ever before. The galaxy would soon realize the true strength of humanity. And when that moment came, it would be too late. The galaxy had no idea what was about to hit them. The first strike from humanity's newly awakened empire came not with the roar of battle, but with the quiet hum of a fleet that appeared out of nowhere. For the galaxy's most powerful civilizations, who had long since dismissed humanity as irrelevant, it was a shock that they would not soon forget. The first target of humanity's fleet was a massive warship belonging to one of the galaxy's most dominant empires, the Zakaran. Their fleets were renowned for their strength and speed, and they had long maintained an iron grip over their territories. They thought themselves untouchable until they met the humans. The human ships emerged from a remote sector of space, moving faster than any of the galaxy's military could track. The Zakaran, confident in their own superiority, failed to respond quickly enough. The first they knew of humanity's presence was when their sensors detected a strange energy reading, far beyond anything they had seen before. But by the time they could react, it was too late. With pinpoint precision, humanity's fleet struck. Their weapons, powered by the technology long hidden on Earth, unleashed a barrage of energy that ripped through the Zakaran warship's defenses like they were made of paper. The Zakaran scrambled to return fire, but their weapons were slow, ineffective against the superior human technology. The stellar shield, an invention from humanity's secret labs, easily absorbed any retaliatory blasts. The human ships, agile and quick, dodged everything the Zakaran threw at them. Within moments, the Zakaran flagship was nothing more than space debris. It was an overwhelming victory, so swift and decisive that it sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The galaxy's other empires were left in stunned silence. A species they had long ignored had just obliterated one of the most feared fleets in existence. The message had been delivered. Humanity had returned, and they were not to be underestimated. As news of the Zakaran defeat spread, the galaxy's military leaders scrambled to respond, but no one knew exactly how to deal with this new threat. The humans had proven to be far more advanced than expected. Their technology was beyond anything the galaxy's best minds could comprehend, and their tactics were unorthodox, making them difficult to predict. Humanity had spent centuries learning, evolving, and now they were using that knowledge to their advantage. But the victory over the Zakaran was just the beginning. Humanity wasn't going to stop there. They knew that the galaxy's leaders would not sit idly by and let them claim victory. A new era had begun, and the galaxy's empires were about to learn a hard lesson. Humanity would never back down. With their first success, humanity's fleet grew bolder as each new victory added to their momentum. Their forces expanded, recruiting new soldiers and gathering more resources. Earth was no longer the weak, forgotten planet it once was. It was now the heart of a resurgent empire, and its people were united in purpose and vision. Across the stars, the galaxy's most powerful races began to mobilize in response. The Galactic Council called for an emergency summit. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered, hoping to formulate a plan to deal with humanity's unexpected rise. But as they sat in their high council chambers, looking down at their maps and strategizing, they could not shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. They had misjudged humanity. They had dismissed Earth as a relic of the past, thinking they were safe. But they were wrong. Humanity had returned with a vengeance, and the galaxy had underestimated their strength. The first strike had been a wake-up call, and the galaxy's leaders were now on high alert. Meanwhile, humanity's leaders, those who had spent years in the shadows working to prepare for this moment, knew that the first strike was only the beginning. Their next move would need to be even more decisive. The galaxy had to understand that humanity was no longer a mere player in the cosmic game. They were here to stay, and they were ready to take back what had been lost. As humanity prepared for the next phase of their campaign, the galaxy's once unshakable confidence began to erode. The stories of humanity's rise spread like wildfire, sowing fear among those who had never believed the humans were a real threat. The galaxy was beginning to realize that it had made a grave mistake in underestimating Earth, and now it was too late to stop them. The galaxy's most powerful empires, once secure in their dominance, now found themselves trembling in fear. The swift and unexpected destruction of the Zakaran fleet by humanity had sent shockwaves through every corner of the universe. No one could have predicted humanity, once thought weak and insignificant, had proven to be a formidable force. The first strike was a warning, but the galaxy's response came quickly. They could no longer ignore the threat. The Galactic Council, made up of representatives from the strongest empires, convened an emergency meeting to address the rising human menace. There were heated discussions, arguments, and even threats. The once unified council was now divided. Some suggested negotiating with humanity, offering them peace in exchange for their withdrawal. But others, the more aggressive factions, wanted to crush them before they could grow any stronger. The Zakarin, still reeling from their catastrophic defeat, urged a swift military response. Their once feared fleet had been decimated, and their pride was wounded. They could not afford to let humanity's victory stand without retaliation. They called on their allies, including the Kraxi Empire, a powerful race of genetically engineered warriors, and the Tarn Confederacy, a union of highly skilled mercenaries from across the galaxy. Together, they formed an alliance with one goal: to hunt down humanity and erase their threat. Meanwhile, humanity, unaware of the full extent of the galaxy's response, continued to prepare. Earth's leaders were confident in their newfound power, but they knew they couldn't afford to be complacent. The next battle would be even more challenging. They had struck a blow to the galaxy's most powerful race, but now the entire galaxy was coming for them. Humanity's forces had to be ready. In secret military facilities across Earth, preparations intensified. The Stellar Shield, a breakthrough technology that had allowed humanity to take down the Zakarin flagship so effortlessly, was being improved. Engineers worked tirelessly to expand the shield's capabilities. It would be the key to ensuring that humanity could defend itself against the incoming forces. And alongside the Stellar Shield, new ships were being built, more powerful and faster than before, designed to strike with precision and overwhelming force. But the true strength of humanity lay in its adaptability. Unlike the galaxy's rigid, hierarchical military structures, humanity's forces were fluid, ever-changing. Soldiers weren't just trained to fight, they were trained to think, to innovate on the battlefield. They didn't follow orders blindly. They used their surroundings to their advantage, adapted to their enemy's tactics, and fought several steps ahead. This was what made humanity different from the galaxy's other species. The galaxy's elite warriors, trained from birth to be perfect soldiers, often relied too heavily on their strength and the power of their weapons. They lacked the ingenuity that humanity possessed. As the galactic forces began to mobilize, humanity prepared for the storm that was coming. It wasn't just a matter of fighting for survival anymore. This was war on a grand scale. The stakes had been raised. On the other side of the galaxy, the Zakarin were already assembling their forces. The once proud Zakarin Empire, humiliated by humanity's attack, could no longer stand by. Their fleet was being rebuilt, and with it came new ships more advanced than anything they had ever created. But even as they prepared, they couldn't shake the feeling that their advantage had been taken from them. Humanity had proven that they were no longer a weak, forgotten race. They were capable of crushing even the mightiest empire. The Kraxi Empire, known for their ruthless warriors, were the first to launch an offensive. Their warriors, genetically engineered to be stronger, faster, and more resilient than any natural species, were deployed on the front lines. They were highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat, and their warriors were said to be nearly invincible. But despite their strength, the Kexes soon discovered that humanity's soldiers were not easily defeated. The humans fought with a ferocity born from survival instinct, and their tactics were unlike anything the Kraxi had ever encountered. Meanwhile, the Tarn Confederacy, a coalition of mercenaries from all over the galaxy, set out to destroy humanity's infrastructure. They targeted Earth's supply chains, hoping to disrupt their war effort. But humanity's response was swift. The humans had learned from their past mistakes. They had prepared for this. Even as their enemies advanced, they continued to adapt, reinforce, and counterattack. The galaxy's forces underestimated humanity at their peril. They believed that their combined might, their advanced technology, and their brutal warriors would be enough to crush Earth's forces. But what they didn't understand was that humanity wasn't fighting for mere survival. They were fighting to reclaim their rightful place in the galaxy, and they were willing to do whatever it took to win. The first signs of humanity's resilience came when the galactic forces, in their overwhelming numbers, began to realize that they were not easily breaking through Earth's defenses. Humanity's ships, armed with superior weaponry and advanced technology, continued to strike with unrelenting force. Each battle brought new surprises, new tactics that the galaxy's forces could not have predicted. The galaxy's leaders, once so confident in their ability to destroy humanity, now found themselves facing a problem they hadn't anticipated. The humans were not only surviving, they were winning. Every attack was met with a new strategy. Every push forward was countered with resistance stronger than they had ever imagined. The galaxy was no longer sure if they could stop the human onslaught. They had made a critical mistake in underestimating Earth, and now it was too late to reverse the course of war. The galaxy's combined forces, confident in their overwhelming numbers, soon found themselves tangled in an unwelcome reality. Humanity, with its raw determination and adaptability, was turning every battle into a nightmare for the Empire's military might. The tide had begun to shift. What had once been an uncertain spark of rebellion was now an unstoppable force. Earth's defenders had risen far above expectations, and the galaxy was waking up to the fact that the war they thought they could easily win was now an escalating nightmare. The first true turning point came when humanity's forces struck at the heart of one of the galaxy's most powerful coalition fleets. This was a fleet unlike any the galaxy had ever faced, made up of the best ships and most seasoned warriors. The fleets of